Button is depressed.
Button's depressed. This is depressing the button.
Announcement is made. Oops, that didn't work. Stop
What
playing.
didn't work?
You
Well,
trying to play.
I accidentally stood up.
Yeah.
Hi there, Murder.
Hello to you too. And don't forget it's twofers. So.
It's tacos.
Tacos. Play it on the set.
All right. Quiet on the set. You're listening to WRFB Radio Free Britannia. And this is Lunch, coming to you live from Deltona, Florida. Here are the dynamic duo themselves, Laz and Jack.
Greetings, everybody. This is Laz.
And this is Jack. Welcome to a glorious Taco Tuesday on Lunch with Laz and Jack, where we interpret the Shroud of the Avatar news. So that way you don't have to. Because, questionable life choices were made, and questionable life choices have to be, dealt with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very questionable. Yes.
But
so
welcome to today's show.
I'm distracted by Tyrion.
Yeah, you're distracted by Baldur's Gate. Fiero Steel, welcome to the set. What's going on?
Don't know what you're talking about.
And for those of you listening on the radio, well, we like to think the live show is the best of Laz and Jack. I sort of forgot to turn that off after yesterday because now I have a toggle so that when we're not here on days like yesterday. So you're listening to the best of Laz and Jack, a preamble to the show on the radio. It's not the case. This is the best of live Lunch with Laz and Jack. And again, welcome to today's show. As Jack said, it is Taco Tuesday, also known as Two for Tuesday. And it is August 8th, I think it is. Yes, August 8th.
Yes, it is. It is 8/8. 8/8.
8/8. Somebody's got a birthday coming up. And did I even do that?
I don't know, but you can tell that Tyrion is wanting attention today.
Yeah, I sort of forgot to send out today's tweet, so let me do that real quick. It's there. I just sort of forgot to I forgot to schedule it like I normally do. So
yes,
let me
and And Baldur's Gate is awesome. I haven't done the multiplayer version yet, but that's going to be coming soon. With a couple friends of mine. But yeah, Tyrion just wants love today. And oh, Laz, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi there, Conjure. Okay. Oh man, but we do have some breaking news for people. If
breaking
if
news.
you're ready for that.
There it is. Breaking news. Hold on. Roll the tape. Because we love our breaking news. All right, breaking news. We have patch notes.
We have patch notes. Patch notes. Build number 1670 came out August 4th at 11:30 p.m. That was what, Friday night, Saturday night?
Correct. Friday night.
Friday night, 11 p.m., 11:30 p.m., where they added severity items to vendors, or 70 items to vendors.
Yeah, I was going to say 70 is not severity.
70 items to vendors' purchase order list and removed 3 unimplemented ones. Enabled
so the Jack of Diamonds is gone, and they're not going to tell us what the 70 items are, right? We're just going to have to guess what the 70 fucking items are, right? Yeah. Because I didn't see a post about that.
Enabled the place anywhere tax-free keep deed to be upgraded.
Yes, I like that one. Yes.
So now you can. Well, I still think that upgrading place anywhere tax-free deeds was a mistake, but you know what? They got to find a way to sell Kodos anyways.
Hey, well, now I can get that. Yeah. Actually, I like that, but no, I don't like that because I traded my place anywhere tax-free deed years ago for, but I still like the idea because,
I would love to be able to like break it down into all the smaller deeds. Switched incomplete blood spatters in streamer bundles for completed ones. Enabled incomplete.
Yeah, apparently, remember when we talked about blood spatters that weren't being placed right? They were most likely they were coming from the streamer bundles. That's, I'm guessing, where they found out where the problem was with that, and they replaced them because now they work, apparently.
Yeah, and thanks to Shroud math, they enabled the use of pattern removers on crafted and taming necklaces at the blacksmithing table for your wooden whistle.
Why would we have a pattern on a taming necklace? I didn't know taming necklaces were patternable. Hold on here. Taming necklace. I mean, I didn't know you could pattern a taming necklace. That's very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't get this one. I didn't know you can apply a pattern to a taming necklace. Now I have to see this. I mean, why would you want to, pattern it? I mean, just to make it look pretty, something you can't see anyway. I mean, unless it's, unless you're looking at your own, character sheet, because nobody can see a taming necklace on you and you're wearing it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get it. Anybody out there get it?
Meow. Meow. Meow.
Meow, meow, meow.
Tyrion's out of the room and like meowing like the end of the world is nigh. Corrected the ancient Zenosian chest armor eternal pattern showing as salvageable for itself. And attached a pre-existing eternal pattern and a new custom icon to the leather kilt.
Okay.
Made an appropriately purple icon for streamer bundles.
Yes, because let's go show that. We noticed that today. I mean, did we really need to spend time putting color on these? I mean, I don't know if you all can see that they are now purple like the actual bags, but yeah. I mean, nice. And Conjure Dragon wants, I'm sorry, Dwip wants to know, are there rare incomplete blood spatters out there now? Like there were in UO. More
Well,
likely than not, no. They were probably just replaced in the next time you pull them
yeah,
out.
completely redone.
Although
And
it'd be cool if there
all
were.
of them updated. Then connected small balls of clay to the correct icon. Corrected icons for tarpon and calank, whatever fillets.
Yeah, hold on.
I'm going to let Laz try to pronounce that one.
Yeah, hold on. There's Fiero here on the lot says,
Coelacanth.
purple bundles, awesome, neat deco item. The kicker is, Fiero, is, let me open these and place one down in front of you. They've always been purple like this as an item. That's how they've always been. So let me just show this to everybody. This has always been like this purple bundle.
Yeah.
If anybody's ever used them for, deco, I haven't seen it, but those have always been purple. The only thing they changed was the icon in your inventory. The actual bundles themselves have always been that color when you laid them out on the on the ground.
Yeah.
So that's nothing new. Just an FYI. So I guess I can put that back in the bag though. I'll have to do that when the cat moves. Okay, so what were we looking at? What was the next topic there?
I have no idea. The coelacanth fillets being updated, or the icons. They corrected display names for Shogun Army Cherry Blossom Dress and Black Aeronaut helm patterns. And added with spawns to the display names of blueprints for the Owl's Head Sewer in the Lich Boss spawned versions.
Which I thought they did that a long time ago, but apparently not.
Yeah. Corrected spelling of Wax Cylinder, the Sorcerer's Tower. Renamed the Red Barn home to differentiate it from the original brown one. Airy and Brittany Graveyard Rose Merchants, which included the caretakers in both these, now also sell Explorer's Shovels. Port Harmony Cistern and Vickland, they adjusted the settings for the fish that swim in these scenes to help them stop swimming outside the bounds of the water.
You mean like in the air?
Yeah, with the Shroud math. Ooh, that would have been an expensive mistake there, Lily.
Yeah, I understand Fiero. Fiero says he opened them all up. He never noticed because you never think to take a streamer bundle and try and place it as deco. Yeah. But now you know. So for future reference, you want to be like Lomir and collect hundreds of them, you might be able to build your own sandbag bundle bunker or something like that with them, as long as you have plenty of
that was me, Conjurer.
Item placement. Conjurer says the next idea was me, which is
the next is mine. Out in Erie, they fixed typos and responses from Fitzgafe, Gabrielle Townsend, Noella, and Karadek. Out in the Black Blade Foothills, the scene returns to allowing avatars to enter the scene at any location when the scene starts. Avatars within the puzzle cavern will now be teleported outside the riddle door. The teleport effect will go away with the riddle when the riddle door is solved correctly. Dun 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 dun. The Courage Club, they added a 3 or 4 second delay between fights. Why be so specific that it's 3 or 4 seconds?
Yeah, I don't know. Is 3 or 4 seconds enough? Maybe you should have just rounded it to a nice even 10. Yeah. Give people time to grab a breath or two. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah. Well, that's what that was asked for, was to add it a breath.
I understand that,
And,
but
yeah.
3
Loot
or
the first
4
foe.
seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Also
even have
added
time
more
to read all the loot while you're doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Just take all. Also
I
added more variety to some
understand
fights.
that.
This is ridiculous. The Isle of Storms updated legacy areas to better handle outdated characters.
Do we even use the Isle of Storms anymore?
No.
So why?
Out in the
Why?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Does that mean that they removed the automaton that's on the Isle of Storms? That's a quest hat giver?
Probably not.
Because that's still up there. The Oracle Chamber, they fixed typos within the Oracle's responses. The Plains encounter, Garlic and Ash resource nodes should no longer spawn atop one another.
Thanks, Sanyo.
Oh, yep. Out in Port Harmony, they moved some floating objects to the ground and added some props in the back of the jail.
Just cheered 300 bits.
Out in Port Harmony Cistern, they fixed Z fighting at the mystical water thresholds, as well as replaced the missing walls flanking the mystical water thresholds.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that. Well, we were going to talk about that. We may have to show that real quick. But first off, thank you, Waldo.
Oh, for 300 bits.
For 300 bits. And Waldo, you're going to get yourself a copy of Rebel Galaxy. Rebel Galaxy for your 300 bits. So thank you, Waldo. And of course, if you want your own mystery game key, be like Waldo. Donate 300 bits.
Oh, yeah.
And you too can get your own mystery game key, like Rebel Galaxy, which I think is like a $25 game or something like that.
It is something. They also blocked a tunnel which allowed the Avatar to leave the play space, and NPCs no longer open barricaded doors.
A $20 game, just an FYI.
Yeah. That in Olfheim, or actually in Tanglemire, they fixed a typo in the confront children about missing bone task. Out in Olfheim, they adjusted settings for a ladder to exit Dragon Area to ensure players never get pushed outside the play space. The Understorm Gold Mine fixed a candle light that was not turning off when taking the candle.
All right, so real quick, I didn't put this in because this was not supposed to be part of today's show, but since they brought it up in the notes, I want to know, here it is for you. How the fuck do you miss this? I mean, really. Open this up, read the bug report real quick, and then we're going to get to the topic at hand today.
Okay. See, Port Harmony Cistern, a huge area of the wall is missing. Can see, get off the map. The walls are missing in the areas circled in red. So can walk out in the areas they're not supposed to access. It looks like the issue is present in all the locations in the cistern that use a clone of this room. I did leave zone and re-enter. Issue is unchanged. I logged out and closed soda. Reloaded soda. Issue is unchanged. Location 1 shown in pick below 2.
Oh
3,
yeah, just go right to the picture. How do you fucking miss this? I mean, really, how do you miss this when you're deploying this? I mean,
QA?
it's not like, there's a little crack in the wall that you can slip through. I mean,
actually,
this is ridiculous.
I'm sorry, Laz. This is TTP. Look at the images.
Yeah, well, I see. It's,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. It's like
yeah, but how do you
it's
miss this? How does this slip through the
no
cracks?
QA.
Yeah, well,
That's because there is no QA.
but when you're
None of
building
this was
when
QA.
you're building this, you should see this. Yeah. Yeah, Fiero Steele's got some cool comments in here. Of course, yep, we're all outdated characters referring to the
Yeah.
Isle of Storms, and of course, playing this, you don't miss it, but testing or not testing, yeah. Again, testing it in developer mode compared to testing it in actual player mode on a real client, but you would just think that you could see this when you built the room. I mean, just. And of course, I
Oh,
gotta then correct today's tweet because I was going to go to a topic from Conjure Dragon about LODs, but technically,
LODs?
yeah, well, I mean, do we want to cover that real quick? I'll throw that
Do
in
we
there.
have LODs?
Well, we'll cover this just to make the tweet
Okay. Relevant.
make the tweet relevant today. Yes, and this is from Conjure Dragon. And Conjure Dragon, I'm going to make a very big suggestion here, which is get yourself a fucking graphics card, dude. Get a graphics card, will you?
Okay, so here's from Conjure Dragon. As I'm not using a dedicated graphic cards, but only the integrated graphic cards on my AMD Ryzen 5600G with 8 Radeon graphics 3.9 gigahertz, I get a lot of loading lag and hitches in the big towns full of deco. In adventure scenes, I have far less problems. So I lowered the graphic settings to fastest and lowered level of detail to 0 all the way left. In my next random encounter, I feel like, well, okay, so as I felt like in Alice in Wonderland, as I started to see invisible rabbits, see nothing except the name rabbit above. Only when I closed in the rabbits a few steps away did it become visible, which is when I assumed that the LOD had to do with it. When I pushed the LOD slider to half, I could see the rabbit visibly no longer on longer distance and even at full farther away. Problem: level of detail should not make something invisible, or rather omit any visible part. The intention of LOD is that something is visible to the range of visibility, just with less detail. Some trees are gracefully spreading their twigs in full LOD, and some of them with lowered LOD, but the tree is always there. In the case of the rabbit, it would make sense that the full picture of the rabbit is only visible for a few steps distance, but if further away, it should not be gone, but merely a generic brown moving spot that could be a rabbit, hare, or even a guinea pig, lacking all the detail of the close-up rabbit. Just not nothing with the name rabbit above it.
Yes.
Well, for one, we have complained about LODs for years.
Day one.
LODs are severely lacking in this game. You can look on my screen and just sit here. We'll move towards, we'll pan the camera around and look at these trees and look at the detail that is not going to change on the screen. Okay. This is because I play in best mode. Laz plays in fastest. But you can see LODs don't really change significantly. Only thing that does is the speed tree stuff, but most everything else does not have an LOD. Majority of assets in the game do not have levels of detail. Like some do, like the little small pouches, some do not. A majority of items do not have the LOD available.
Indeed.
So it's like, and that's because one, they would need probably 10 graphic artists to go through and redo all of the assets in the game, and that would take them months.
Yes, but one of those things that will help you with your lag, even though that Shroud Avatar is single processor centric, which means if you have multiple processors, more times than not, it doesn't even take advantage of that. It usually takes advantage of only a single core 95, I would probably say closer to 99% of the time. So multiple cores don't help you. Usually the graphics problems and the bottleneck is related to your processor because you can't multi-thread. Again, with the graphics, the AMD with the built-in graphics might handle that a little better, but still highly suggested, highly recommended that you have a dedicated discrete graphics card in your system to help alleviate that, because then your processor is handling not only the
That like
actual output, but it's also bottlenecking your graphics, which causes you all that lag. So
and that
even
like
even a cheap $300 card will, and I know that some people that's not
that
cheap.
16 gigs of RAM that you have on your computer, maybe 8 of it is going to video.
Yeah.
So you end up with, hey, we're not doing these things.
Yeah, you can tell it's shared because he's only got 15742 available, which
No, that's thanks to manufacturer math.
I understand that, but usually when you see that, that's because of a shared graphics card. Yeah. Anyway, moving right along. Gonna
Moving right
tell
along.
everybody to make sure you're bundled up because it is 2 for Tuesday coming up in a few minutes. But
Taco Tuesday.
as promised,
Got 6 people in on my side.
we have video to sit here and dissect. 35 minutes worth of video, which is probably going to take us a couple days to go through. So, do we want to do another topic and then do the second half hour, or do we want to? How do we want to do this?
Let's. Do you still have the pet cloak open?
No, I closed everything.
So that way we can kill like 3 minutes before.
I got.
I posted it in chat. Our Discord.
Let's see.
Dun dun dun.
Let's see if this is. Yeah, okay. This will take a couple seconds. I had something a little bit better, but we'll do this one just to get it out of the way.
Cloak and pet unequip issue is from Willax, who's having an issue that when I change zones or log off and log on again, my pet Grin and Barrett, summonable at summon level 44, and my front class cloak +4 are being unequipped. The pet necklace is replaced by one that requires level summoning 59. Mine is only 59. This is reproducible, but not every time, but most time. Character name is Laffy Giggle.
Laffy Giggle.
Alley-oop, do you have that equipment bound to a deck you're switching to and from? You may need to rebind the right things. Dun, dun, dun. Do you think that's the issue when he's changing zones or logging off and logging on?
I'm thinking that they're not bound to begin with. He puts them on, and then he changes zones, and of course, it's not bound to any of his
gear.
Gear, and more likely than not, he doesn't have a different set of armor. For fighting and walking around, like we have costume changes, you know what I'm saying? If you notice, like, this is our uniform that we use here. And then, of course, we have different ones. For when I want to go swimming, I have naked Laz with my regular walk around clothes are like that. My fighting, is like that. And then I have several different, I have my tux build for formal events. I have my fishing build for fishing events. And so of the like, more likely than not, is what it is. But hard to say at
It's
this
something.
point.
Something.
Especially when you're changing scenes. When you're changing scenes, or even at that shouldn't happen because
No, your gear
again,
should remain on you. So it's
yeah.
like that.
So
That is one where it's like, okay, like what is really going on? And it may be something like he's got something bound and he's accidentally hitting what's the hotkey for changing clothes, Z or X? He might be like hitting X on accident while he's changing scenes.
quite possible quite possible he has what is it? He has an alternate deck set, and he's
Yeah.
mousing over, and like here, if I want to set that to an alternate deck, and then this comes up, there's a hotkey for an alternate deck to swap decks.
Yeah. Well, so Conjure Dragon, it's actually changing his gear. It's changing his loadout. That's what we're trying to figure out.
And then again, you have to go through this animation process, which he doesn't say he's seeing an animation. Could be a hotkey also, because there is a Control F, or there's an F Control F1 F2 hotkey that you can actually use to switch decks, which
I
he may
don't
be
know,
hitting.
but you know what time it is, Laz?
It's time to pull a couple
It's
streamer
Taco
bundles.
Tuesday, and I get to exchange with my nerd and send one to Dwip. There you go. And then my nerd.
Mine are going to. There's my other entrance. One is going to Conjure Dragon, and one is going to the Maynard. So Maynard, please step up.
Axe body spray. Check your mailbox because you too can smell like regret. You're welcome, Maynard. Oh man. Oh yes.
You're standing right in front of my. There we go.
Your pouch. Here. Your baggie. Your baggie. What did you collect? All the new ones?
Oh yeah, I always take the new ones and drop them right into that bag. Then I take the extras and I throw them someplace else so that they're off to the side in case we have one of those days or one of those months where we just don't get them. Oh, Conjurer Dragon, I always forget. You don't have that name. You are what's his name? Henry Fletcher. Henry Fletcher. That's why I can never find Conjurer Dragon. That's why I can't find him, because his name is not the same.
Dun, dun, dun. Spontaneous combustion. Firefighters say an electric car burst into flames outside of a home. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Talk about lovely emissions problems when that happens, because you can't even put that fucking fire out. You just got to let it burn.
You just have to. You got to change it differently.
All right. Anyway, yeah. As promised last week, we're going to go ahead and delve into this story, and we are going to critique it as we go. So hold on tight, because this is going to take a day or two. No problem, Andrew. Thank you.
Or 3 or 4. We'll figure it out.
I'm going to mute the game volume here so that I don't have that rolling in the background.
And let me know when you are ready to click play.
Hang on, and I'm going to turn my master volume up on this a little bit. And we are ready. So count us in, and everybody get
3,
ready for a ride
2,
here.
1, play.
I'm Richard Garriott, known to some of you as Lord British, the creator of the Ultima series.
This is a story about a game that promised it all, from a legendary developer who had built up trust with his fans for over a decade. The grandfather of the industry, the man who in some ways gave birth to some of the most popular game genres and mechanics still used to this day. It's a game that he promised to participate in together with his fans. All he needed was their support. Their money, of course. He would deliver an experience unlike anything that existed, a game to shake up the stale MMORPG genre and bring it back to its roots. Instead, players were left disappointed, and tens of millions of dollars that they pledged to create this dream was wasted. This story has a beginning, a middle, and the end is still being written. But let's go back to the start.
Please, join us on this adventure. Please consider backing our project. Together, we will forge a new world.
Richard Garriott is, well, he's an interesting man, to put it politely. You might have heard the name Lord British before. Well, that's Richard Garriott, or at least what he likes to be called. Born in England to two American parents, making him a dual citizen by birth, Richard's dad, Owen, was a NASA astronaut. Richard grew up wanting to follow in his father's footsteps. Instead, he was diagnosed with a vision issue at the age of 13, which essentially killed any possibility of making it into the program. At this point, Richard fell back on another passion: fantasy. He'd been exposed to the many brilliant worlds of fiction as an avid reader, the works of Tolkien being one of his all-time favourites, and with the rise of Dungeons & Dragons bringing that interactive element, he was hooked. In 1975, Richard was exposed to computers while attending high school, which immediately sparked his creativity. He convinced his school to allow him to create a programming course, one he would direct himself, with the sole purpose of creating video games. Throughout high school, Richard claims to have created 28 or more video games, essentially by himself. And this...
All right, stop right there. Okay. That I believe is taking out of context, first off.
D&D 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah,
7, 8, 9, 10.
he created 28 or 29 different
Copies
versions of the
same
same game. He didn't create 29 different video games. So that's one of the first fallacies I found in this. Here. The second thing I want to point out is that you saw it earlier. And again, I'll go to, let's start from the beginning. But the graphics that are used, and you'll see as in gameplay, are most often in this video very early beta graphics, which is doing a disservice across the board to the story and the game itself. So I just want to get that out there. He didn't create 28 different video games. He created 21 versions of the same game that he kept updating till he got his final version. So ready to move on here again?
I believe that would be called iterations.
Yeah, iterations, versions. Version 1. 1.01, 1.02, 1.03, 1. Up to 29. I don't know if he actually did that, but if you ever heard him tell the stories, he still has the original 28, 29 floppy disks that he made these updates on for that singular
The
game.
Teletype.
Yeah,
the teletype tape.
I don't know if that was teletype. I think that was still the Apple II. That was
that was the teletype. That was the teletype. That's why he went off of. That's why he bought one off of eBay that was broken, and then it got broken even further in the move of Portalarium offices.
Yeah, he's actually got a couple of those, I understand, but that's another story. Anyway, ready to move on? Unpause.
Yes.
This is what they looked like back then.
Now it's time to battle a dragon. How am I going to do that?
Which is a pretty far cry from what we see being released in the modern era. This didn't turn out to be a phase, as 5 years later in 1979, Richard was still working hard and still creating games. This time though, they had graphics.
Oh, I fell down a level. I fell down a trapdoor that does reduce your health by a little bit.
A literal game changer. This added an element to his games that were previously missing, and the boss of his summer job at Computerland recognised that fact. He convinced Richard to sell copies of the game, as it was truly unlike anything else that existed. Richard spent $200 to bag up copies of the game, along with artwork made by his mother, and started to sell them. Unfortunately, only 12 copies were ever purchased. But one of those 12 made its way to California Pacific Computer Company, and they were very impressed. So much so, they signed a deal with the fresh out of high school genius, which saw over 30,000 copies sold and $150,000 in Richard's pocket.
Thanks
Adjusted for inflation,
Sodawiz.
that's about $600,000 today. Richard had just...
And we're going to pause there. Sodawiz, thank you for the sub. And
yes.
comparing the money from then to today is just stupidly ludicrous. Makes absolutely nothing to do with.
I got a cat
any
standing
of this.
on my keyboard,
Yes.
so I have no idea where we're at because Tyrion was standing on my keyboard.
We're at the picture of Owen Gary in the astronaut suit right there after they talk about the comparison of if we just go back, it was $30,000 then, which was equal to $150,000 in today. Has absolutely no fucking bearing on the story or anything. What you sold it for then?
Because one of the reasons is because $150,000 house in 1980 versus a $150,000 house in 2023.
Yeah, see, now I can tell you that the house I grew up in, my parents bought for $15,000. Okay, back in 1976. And when my mother sold it in the 1990s, she sold it for $120,000. That same house today is worth $3.2 million. It's still the same fucking house. Does that make any bearing on the story that my parents bought it for $15,000? Absolutely fucking not. Or that my mother sold it for $120,000? Absolutely not. Okay. But anyway, Sodawiz, you got a choice. Do we continue on or do we stop what we're doing? But thank you for the sub, 7 months in a row subscription. And we'll give him just a moment. Continue. All right, we're continuing on. So here we go. You got Owen Garrett there up.
Yeah, I gotta go find Owen's picture. What's the timestamp that you have?
3 minutes 44 seconds.
Okay, there.
Ready?
We are click and play again, and hold on, right now.
Just earned more than 3 times his father's astronaut salary, and this was just the very beginning. His game, Akalabeth, is considered the first ever computer role-playing game that was published. He then entered the University of Texas and continued to develop video games to continue honing his craft. This time with the Ultima series. The games, however, were becoming so popular that it left him completely unable to focus on school, so he left in order to pursue full-time launching of games just as he finished Ultima 2 in the early 1980s. At this stage, Richard and his small group of friends were responsible for some of the earliest known RPG video games and constantly innovating and pushing boundaries on what was thought to be possible during the evolution of early computing. Each new piece of technology released would see Richard testing it, and his sole purpose was to enrich the worlds he was creating for his growing fanbase of role-playing game connoisseurs. It was Richard, his brother, his father, and another man by the name of Chuck. They created their own video game publisher, Origin Systems. Prior to this, they were relying on third-party companies, but they were burned on Ultima 2's release and decided to take matters in their own hands for Ultima 3. A couple of years later, in 1992, Electronic Arts approached with an offer of $30 million to purchase Origin Systems, an offer that was quickly accepted. This not only made the Garriotts incredibly rich from something they created mostly out of passion, but also gave them the funding to go where no man had gone before. To take.
All right, I want to pause there. He says this as it made the family rich. No, it made Richard rich. I don't believe that his partners got much of that $30 million. If they did,
No.
yeah, Richard says he got $30 million for the company. He never says that somebody else got it. So, but and again, his father and mother, were pretty respectable.
I think they were not being paid out for all kinds of stuff. His brother was like the CFO, so he was nowhere near the 30 million that Richard.
Well, again, when it comes down to companies, I mean, if everybody was paid as a salaried employee, whoever was the owner on paper is the person who makes that money. It doesn't get split across the board. Okay, so even though his mother did the artwork that we all know, his father helped, and all. I mean, he doesn't speak of his father actually helping too much actually in the video games, in my recollection. But his father's encouragement was very insightful and, of course, a motivational tool for him. But he doesn't mention his father helping with the video games as much as he does his mother with the artwork and other things. So, but again, if you want to just make the inference that because Richard got $30 million, the Garriots became rich, you take that as it may. But moving right along. Ready to click play?
Yes.
Play the Ultima series and role-playing games to the very next level, where previously the budget of each Ultima game was essentially unpaid labour of those creating it. The next game had a budget on EA's dime of $2.5 million, which sounds like a terribly small sum of money in today's video game market, but back then was a ridiculous amount. Richard had by this point seen the beginning of a new trend in the RPG genre, one that he hadn't created. It was called the Graphical Multi-User Dungeon, commonly referred to as MUD. Examples being the AOL version of Neverwinter Nights and Meridian 59. These games took place on the internet, another new technology that Richard was keen to explore. The internet was an insane evolution, much like that of introducing graphics to text-only games, as Richard had been the pioneer of more than a decade before. This time, they were adding players in a shared world, and Richard saw the possibility of what he could do with that formula, as well as where he could improve it. The idea was pitched to EA, and Ultima Online was now greenlit. It was very important to us that Ultima Online be a game with a theme, and a story, and quest, and then support larger, grander activities. We don't want it to just be player controlled and dominated, we want it to be an Ultima experience, with all the qualities that people expect from that. Ultima Online will be, I believe, the very first ever completely virtual world for the mass public to go live out alternate lives in. With the development...
Okay, stop again right there. Okay. EA did not just greenlight Ultima Online. They had to fight. They had to fight tooth and nail. And when they went to EA with the actual idea, EA said, "Fuck off. We're not funding this." And then the guys who were working on the team, Origin Systems, under EA's banner, because they were still Origin Systems, a company under the EA name, they decided to test the waters by asking how many people would pay $5 for a disc to try out the game before they went. And when they raised $65,000 plus, that's when EA's fucking mind woke up and said, "Holy fucking shit, he's got something here." And then they decided to back it. So this guy makes it sound like he proposed it and EA went, "Great idea." No, that's not what happened.
Yeah.
They had to fight tooth and nail for this. Yes.
Fighting, and then from there, like, Star was the executive, or Star had risen through the ranks of QA at Origin.
Star answered a game for a play tester originally when he went to work for Origin. He answered an ad that said, "Come play video games and get paid for it." And Star said, "This can't be real," and that's how he got started. But he's nowhere mentioned in any of this. We're just getting a little off track there.
But then, like, the team itself was like 30 employees for UO. But yeah,
it was before EA gave them the money and then took another whole department. and threw them into it, which the guys who were working on it didn't want because, when you take a department that was working on another game and you take their funding away and tell them, oh, you guys are now working over here, there's a bad, bad vibe going on there, but it all worked
Yeah.
out. And then I just want to point out that this opening scene that you see where this, you see this planet in the background here. This is probably one of the greatest opening video memories of my lifetime. The very first time I saw the Ultima trailer opening the game for Ultima Online, where you get that whole storyline. But that's something else to talk about. But let's continue on here. 3, 2, 1, play.
Time of just over 1 year from 1995 to 1996, Ultima Online was already seeing massive praise from the early participants of alpha testing. Unsurprisingly, it wasn't like anything seen before. In current day, when someone announces a game with features that sound unrealistic, we can and usually do call them out. We know enough due to historically what has been possible whether something sounds reasonable. We have access to unprecedented amounts of information, so we are surprised less often than ever before. Back then though, in 1997, people had no idea what to expect because it had just never existed before. The concept of a shared world that you could access from anywhere on the planet, playing with thousands of other humans, owning houses, crafting, gathering materials, fighting players for control of territories, it was completely unfathomable. But within 6 months of launch, over 100,000 people had already subscribed to the game for a monthly dollar fee. The popularity of his creation and what he did was absolutely legendary. The man who is credited for the first ever published RPG had now launched the revolutionary game Ultima Online and given it a name, an MMORPG, massively multiplayer online
you forgot,
role-playing game.
The entire architecture of shards and everything else. He forgot that, besides the word MMORPG, the entire server concept in shards, like Pacific, Atlantic, Great Lakes, Napa Valley, all that other crap.
My understanding is that the original started out as the one server, but it finally became too big. Is when that became, the answer to doing that. Yeah. And Stringfellow Hawk says, Laz, just tell Richard Garriott to buy the game back for pennies on the dollar and finish the dang thing. Own it, LB, own it. We covered this just about a week or so ago because there was a thread on Twitter about it, or X Twitter, or whatever the fuck we're calling it these days, where Richard says he gets into these talks every several years with EA, and they start going good, and then it all gets shot down.
For 44 months. Thanks for your continued support,
Noob Skyblabber. Thank you for the sub. And of course, EA has given control of Ultima Online to Broadsword Entertainment, and Broadsword has been carrying the torch quite well, I might add, for probably going to say at least the last 10 years, Jack. It's been under the umbrella of Broadsword.
I have no idea. I have never played the Broadsword version. I only played UO on the official servers for 4 or 5 years.
And of course, the joke was that he should just buy EA, which of course, not happening.
Yeah, never going to happen.
All he would really want is the rights to Ultima that he sold them. Not even wanting the origin systems, just the rights to Ultima. But every time he broaches the subject with them, the talks get started and then it peters out, and they decide no, they're not going to let that go. Yeah. EA Sports, it's in the game. Yeah, let's release the same fucking game every year with a new number on it. Madden, 01, 02, 03, 04, 05.
Laz, the funny thing is, UO is exactly Ultima is the same thing. There's 9 versions of the same game.
How so?
Because so Saria came out Ultima 3, right?
Ultima,
and then the Virtue
4 or 5,
Then the Ultima 4 is Quest of the Avatar. Then everything else is just fucking the same thing. You're still the Avatar. You're doing all these things to save the world. The story's a little bit different. It's the same thing as it's the same game that keeps on getting reiterated upon newer technology. Hey, we changed this.
The same thing going on with Shroud. It just gets patched and
well,
updates.
remember our Shroud of the Avatar is essentially a continuation of Ultima, since Richard can't get that intellectual property back.
But it's not.
So
okay, when you go out and buy a copy of UO now, it's not the next year's version. It's still the same version, just
I
with a
know.
patch. And
in DLC.
Yeah. Question from.
But not UO. But if you think of Ultima 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the canned 10.
Well, again, those are slightly different games, different graphics, different quests, different. It's not. Yeah, I can't call it the same game. But anyway, Dwip wants to know, why does the Soda intro video not play anymore? Probably because you turned it off. There was a toggle switch, as I recall, where you could play or not play the intro video. Where that is, I quite forget, to tell you the truth.
Hold on. Interface. No idea.
Is it in the interface or controls? I thought it was on the load screen.
I don't know.
Yeah, hold on. Now I'm going to log out just to see. Exit to menu. As we're about done for today on this, we will pick this up where we left off. But right now, I'm going to log out to the main boot screen so that we can try and answer this question. No, I thought he was talking about the actual trailer into the game, which is,
I don't know.
Main menu. And then under options, I think. No, that's not there. There's a toggle there. Good question. Now I gotta start from scratch. So let's start from scratch.
I have no idea. Dun, 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 dun.
All right, so we're going to do that. Please wait.
No clue.
We crash.
No clue.
Because Shroud the Avatar is not responding. There we go. And then we're going to reopen it.
It's okay. You got 2 minutes to figure this thing out, Laz.
Yeah, 2 minutes to get back in to pull our giveaways for the end of the day, and we will continue. I'm at the 8:10 mark on this video, so where are you? You should be right around the same place.
8:15.
Okay, so we're right around the same place.
How am I a couple seconds ahead of you?
Oh, I don't know. It happens.
But do have to get back in games, that way I can either trade or mail out those streamer bundles, which are going to get pooled in just a minute. So you do need to do exclamation mark bundle on my stream and Laz's, twitch.tv/Cynicist and twitch.tv/NBNN News. Ooh.
Shroud is now being picky.
Hey, Shroud math, man.
Yeah. And then Conjure Dragon pointing out, you want to read that while I'm loading this?
Conjurer Dragon pointing out that I love free shit. What am I pointing out? Bundle me.
They are immensely different.
Oh, they are immensely different. 1 to 3 was just hack and slash and get the emboss. 4 was unique with the virtue system where you had to sculpt yourself to be able to proceed. 5 had the Black Thorn takeover where the virtues were overemphasized to the point of tyranny. But essentially it's the same story over and over and over again. It's just plain. 3 or 4 onwards is pretty much the same story. I mean, you're dealing with the virtue system and how to be a nice guy. I mean, just because the demons are getting killed by all the Earth events and everything else, yeah, it's all basic trope shit, but it is very entertaining. People are still completing it and doing all kinds of shit.
That's a good question. I thought there was a
What?
toggle for that.
I don't know where it is,
Yeah.
but you know what time it? Oh fuck! I forgot to reopen my giveaway.
Did you? Did I reopen mine? Yeah, so did I. So, oops, we both did. Everybody's got to start typing "bundle me" in just a moment.
Exclamation mark bundle me right now because we both forgot to reopen it. Whoopsies.
Whoopsies.
Whoopsies, whoopsies. I mean, that's what happens with a 3-day vacation.
Yeah, good question. I remember there being a toggle for it. Show intro videos. Might have been on one of them screens that they took out that people complained about, and nobody ever. So we're gonna have to research that and get back to you.
It's gonna be weird stuff.
Yes.
Okay, got a couple people in so far. Couple. Up to 3. Come on. Exclamation mark I love free shit. But while we're doing that, we can go close this giveaway and pick a wiener and tell Kubertic he is getting his streamer bundle. Not streamer bundle. Steam key. And he's getting, what the fuck is this? Okay, you ready for this name?
Sure.
Marsupilami Hoob Adventure. Is that a name or what?
That's a hell of a name. But while
I
we're
know.
waiting,
Marsupilami.
do we have a whole bunch of people in here now? I see 2 people entered into the Bundle Me giveaway. So is that all it's getting
3.
in?
I've got 3. So, and who's getting your streamer?
I haven't pulled it yet. I'm waiting to see if anybody
I'm sorry,
else.
Your Steam key. Sorry,
I haven't pulled it yet.
Well, I had lots of people in my Steam key giveaway.
Yeah, I have plenty of people there too. So I guess whoever is in here, the only 2 people who are in here are going to be the winners today. So let's see who they were. It was Conjure a Dragon and Dwip. You guys are going to be getting your streamer bundles. And our final giveaway of the day is going to be Lomir Edane. Lomir Edane. What do you want to do, Lomir? You're going to get a copy of 10-Second Ninja X. He's not here.
I know. He's not here with us in chat today.
Ah, okay. Well, then Lomir is going to get a copy of 10-Second Ninja X. And if he wants to, then he can recycle that and we'll give it away again tomorrow. But meanwhile, we got to go ahead and wrap things up here for today, and we'll be back with more tomorrow right here on NBNN. Until then, I'm Laz.
I'm Jack.
And we are NBNN.
Maynard, say yes.
Have a great day, everybody.
We'll
see you all
Bye-bye.
tomorrow.